So that's the intro riff for Brown Eyed Girl. We run into these notes in Hal Leonard's Book 2 on page 7. We come to this in their study on syncopation. Here we have our notes in the key of G. Hopefully you can read these ones. This is G, A, B, A, G. And the syncopated rhythm given to us is created by these eighth rests on beat 2 and 3. So on beat 1 we have 2 eighth notes, 1 and. We rest on 2 and play on the and of 2, the open B. Rest on 3, play on the and of 3, the A note, and then the G on 4. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. We have the exact same rhythm moved up the interval onto the C chord. Here we started on the root of the G, G to A to B, the third. Then we'll do that on C, C to D to E. Same rhythm, 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. Back to the G chord, G, A, and B, 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. That emphasis on the ands is what we call syncopation. Beat 1 of the D chord, we're doing the same notes, we're down to the root of the D. Then it's a dotted quarter note. As you know, that's a beat and a half. A quarter note's worth 2 eighth notes, a dotted one is worth 3. 2 eighths would be 1 and, the next eighth note would get us onto beat 2, but leave a remainder of an and, which could be an eighth rest on and, or we'll play this F sharp note on the and. So we get the D, 1 and 2 and is F sharp, 1 and 2 and, rest on 2, syncopate by playing on the and of 2, the G, syncopate by resting on beat 3 and playing on the and of 4, and anticipating that down to the G. So the D chord goes 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1. That 1 is the G. The riff in slow motion, 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and G, 2, 3, repeat. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and the chords written there are the chords of the song. G, C, G, D. Green Day strum. Down, down, up, down, up, down, down, up, down, up, down, down, up, down, up, down, down, up, down, up. C to D, G to D to E minor, C, D, G, D, and start again. Those notes then become the melody line played up on your guitar neck in the actual recorded version. G, A, B, C, D, E. G, A, B. And then a little riff on D. I want to show it to you slightly differently though. It's harmonized in thirds. So that G, A, and B taken up one octave, 8 V, A. 8 oct, V, octave, and A is above. So it's a jazz nomenclature for telling you to play up an octave. So we're hearing this G, A, and B up higher on the neck. Here's the harmony to it. You know this in thirds. If I have a G on the 8th fret, the major third B note from a G chord is at the 7th. We go to a C note on the top string and an A note on the 2nd string, 10th and 8th frets. This distance creates a minor third. So we have a major third, the G and B. Harmonize the A note with a C above it, the minor third. This is in key of G. Move up to the B and harmonize it with the D, another minor third. So what we heard was, now we have this in thirds. 7 and 8, actually 8 and 7 from the 2nd string to the 1st, 10 and 8, 12 and 10, 10 and 8, 8 and 7. Harmonize exactly the same way on the C chord. Major third, minor third as though we're in the key of C, minor third, and back. This brings us out of key a little bit. There's an F note. The key of G has F sharps. Two good reasons for this. One, we're harmonizing onto the C chord with something that sounds a little more consonant and doesn't rub as much as the F sharp would. Also, we're repeating the pattern. Your ear is quite capable of trailing a pattern through a song through repetitions, even if it goes out of key. We're doing exactly what we did on the G chord on the C chord. Your ear appreciates and accepts that. Here it is. Here are those notes. G to a sus and C to a sus. We don't mind that sound at all. So there's G and C and G. I'm going to lie to you here for a moment. This pattern that we saw with a G root and its third and a C root and its third could be replicated with the D root and its third. So we'd have G, C, G, D, G. Just going to take a second to show those harmonized. If you're watching close, you might see that I fix a few typos as I go. When I started, I had written some wrong notes here. By the time I talked about them, I had fixed them. Same thing here on the D chord. So what I've done is shown you exactly the riff on G, G and B, A, C, B and D. Exactly the riff on C, C, E, D, F, and E, G. On the D, I'm duplicating that riff, although it's not played in the song. I got a 3 and a 2, a D and an F sharp, E and a G, F sharp and A. I want you to see that it's actually shaped on the same idea though. One interesting way to play that D, which is still a little incorrect but kind of cool, is to take this and start on the highest note, the 5-7, and then go back to the beginning. And then you're on your G. Although the notes could be harmonized the same, to get the melody, we would turn it around like that. We just start on the higher end of it. And then you're at G. So we have the G riff, C riff, G, D, not starting here, but starting at the top. And then you can start again because it goes twice at the beginning. And again, not starting at the bottom but the top. And then you're into the song. That's still not correct. The melody is right now, but he doesn't quite play it like that. I'm going to show you how it's actually played now, although I love to see that first so that you can see the continuity and the way that the thinking develops through here. In reality, this A note at the 5th fret is played on the 2nd string, 10th fret. It's harmonized not with its 3rd, but with the D note at the 7. So hit the A with your pinky, D with your pointer at the 7 of the 3rd string. Then we get this harmony The pair of sevens, this F sharp and D, 2nd and 3rd fret, is F sharp and D at the 7s. This 3rd fret G is played at the 8th fret, although the harmony doesn't change under it as it would. That would be the only suspect note in this. And then you end up on your 10. So it turns out to be a different kind of chord. It's this D chord with the A up here on the 2nd string. Then the F sharp, 7th fret, 2nd string, G and A. So it's a little more compact. It breaks our pattern, but you can see it actually follows the ideas quite closely. So here's the G again. You might recognize this. If you had a D chord here with a 3rd on top, the D to F sharp, and you fired that along the neck until you got to a G note, you'd have a G chord that looks just like D, with the 8 and 7 as the 3rd on top. There's your sus, harmonized, C. That C would be identical. It's a triangle D style chord. Back to G. And now instead of doing the D, which to me sounds perfectly fine, we'll do it here. I think I'll put in another little strum there at the end so I can hit more Ds on that. And then you're back on your G, you're in place for it. D. Your pointer is still sitting here, and you're ready to go on G again. Or you'll be cut off a little bit in time as you finish up the D. If you could get there in time, you'd be on the G chord. So this D is not the one we're playing. We're actually harmonizing this way, repeating the intro, and then strumming the chords. As mentioned, the verse is like the intro. G to C to G to D a few times, C to D, then G to E minor, the 1 to the 6, C to D, and G to D. So you have a standard song, 1, 4, and 5 in G, G, C, and D with the E minors. I squeeze in a D over F sharp here. 9 times out of 10 in an acoustic singer-songwriter song in G, you can fill that gap from G to E with the D chord. And usually with an F sharp in the bass. So a slow version of this. Intro in G, on C, G, the wrong version, G, C, G, the right version, G, C, down, down, up, down, up. After my G, C to D, my brown-eyed girl, a D chord to get you going again on another verse. And so on. That's it, guys. The syncopated version, of course, is your note reading version. This will be more of your pop song version. You don't have to do both. If you've come here only for the riff, go ahead and do that and ignore the reading. I wish you would be working on your reading though. Likewise, if you're working on your reading, to play the actual song is a lot of fun. It's nice to encounter these in the book and find out that they're actually coming from real songs. Have a good one, guys.